away at the Pokemon there, just forcing shields. It could be a really unique opportunity for Anicor. We'll have to see, because it looks like they're jumping right into it here. We got Medicham up against the Grumpig up on this beginning portion.
Here we go. This is not exactly the lead AnicorXIII wants to see. He's staying in, though, to my massive surprise, because I think this is a terrible matchup. Storing a charge tech, then swapping into this Mandibuzz. Kuifje waiting a little bit before swapping, going into Fortress instead of Togekiss. Perhaps not going for Switch Advantage now, knowing that Togekiss also has a fine matchup into this Medicham. But keep in mind that energy is going to be pretty scary. And in fact, that Empoleon could be just as scary for the Grumpig too, because you have Dynamic Punch on Grumpig, but with some chip damage, I think Hydro Cannon could knock out a lot of Pokemon here.
Going ahead, no Protect Shield used from AnicorXIII side. This Rock Tomb is going to lower the attack, but Shadow Ball already ready again from this Mandibuzz, and no Protect Shield used on either one there from Kuifje's side.
I think maybe because this doesn't knock out just yet, the Snarl, but perhaps you can still outpace. It's only 3 for a foul play, and he actually does outpace. Mandibuzz is a pretty good Pokemon, it seems. But like I said, Kuifje doesn't really care for Switch Advantage, because as long as he has energy on Togekiss as well, that Medicham is just not going to do a lot.
Yeah, but the Togekiss will come in here. None of this is going to do much. Medicham automatically swapping back in to be met with the Grumpig here. And actually, AnicorXIII not throwing here. The Shadow Ball will be able to go through. 2 Protect Shield still on both of these trainers' sides, because none are used on this super effective damage on the Medicham.
It actually was a Charge Tech pretty tight on this Ice Punch, but Ice Punch without the same type of tech was not going to deal as much damage. This Grumpig is just going to be boimping on his tail to get the Psy Wave down here and come out with a lot of energy. At this point, I think Kuifje is just hoping that there won't be Fortress in the back, but even then with 2 shields, this Togekiss is going to have a pretty good time here. What could be the worst you could face at this point for Kuifje?
Maybe an Empoleon?
Well, still, then you have Aura Sphere. You probably get 2 Charge Techs here. AnicorXIII's best hope is to get a catch here, but even if, I'm not even sure if you can get a comfortable Metal Sound down here as the Empoleon.
No, I mean, look how much energy is on this Grumpig. There's no way. You definitely have to at least probably throw an attack. Hopefully you can catch, but he's not able to do so. Shields? What shields? There's not going to be any left on AnicorXIII's side now if he wants to keep this Empoleon healthy, and this is exactly where the Togekiss wants it.
Togekiss is coming in. A Fairy type swapping into a Steel type, that's kind of weird, but it doesn't really matter. I think at this point, Kuifje is going to use 2 Protect Shields here, build to 2 Charge Attacks, and then he knows, he's looking at the camera like, I know what to do here. Just build to 2 Aura Sphere, you can throw them into both Pokemon. No, he's going 1 off here. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Aura Sphere, a very, very efficient charge tech. Does it knock out in 1 charge tech here? It actually does.
Wow.
Opponent goes down.
I think that he was wary. He was hoping that the catch wouldn't happen. AnicorXIII tried to predict when that first Aura Sphere was going to be thrown. Wasn't able to do so. This one connects as well with the Mandibuzz, and Kuifje takes game number 1.
I feel like it's only half a win, though. Like, if you really wanted to win that, you should have side-shocked the Mandibuzz. That's just my personal opinion here.
Okay.
That's a great win by Kuifje.
Well, half win by Kuifje there for game number 1 in the winners semifinals in Group A. AnicorXIII, he's got to bounce back if he wants to be able to stay on this winner's side of the bracket. But is the 2-0 sweep on stream going to continue? Kuifje is sitting in a fairly comfortable position.
And I think these Pokemon just really made sense for Kuifje. Grumpig, even though Psywave is resistant on Empoleon, is actually not that bad there at all. Dynamic Punch will take it out in pretty much 1 charge tech, so Grumpig actually takes that in all even shield scenario. The only thing that has to be careful of is Mandibuzz and Fortress. And the team that Kuifje brought there wasn't exactly the greatest into Fortress, so I wouldn't be surprised if AnicorXIII now pivots to that Pokemon.
I mean, Fortress, I was thinking, if you have a Grumpig, it's kind of a dangerous pick if you see that there's a Shadow Bug Bite Fortress on the other side, but sometimes these high risks also yield high rewards. No Fortress in sight for AnicorXIII in game number 1.
You say that, but I think what's even riskier about this is Mandibuzz. Because you look at this team from Kuifje, Mandibuzz might not dominate everything, it is entirely free. Because with Shadow Ball, you take out Togekiss at 2 charge attacks, you are bulky as Mandibuzz. It actually doesn't really have a bad matchup there, so I kind of always expect Mandibuzz to come out from AnicorXIII. Yet Kuifje was like, no, I still bring Grumpig. No, this is the way.
It's okay. Well, you can definitely hit it back for some damage. He was up to that Dynamic Punch, and I half expected the Kuifje to throw it in the Mandibuzz for some chip damage before he swapped out into that Fortress last game. He didn't. He stored that for a rainy day. It proved super vital, stripping away those shields from the Empoleon, and now it looks like we're going to jump into the game number 2 in winners semifinals.
If Kuifje wins this match, he moves on to day 2. AnicorXIII will go to loser, so AnicorXIII needs to make a comeback here. This is a pretty very neutral matchup, and Polion wins this only when no shields are used. But when Protect Shields are used, the resisted bug might actually add up. Look at that. It doesn't even look like it's resisted on Napoleon.
Looks like first Protect Shield, not even bothered by Kuifje there, is able to take it. And now it's going to go ahead and go for a Sand Tomb. And this is what you were talking about. This no shield used by Anicor either. This is big, and then it's going to lower the defenses of the Empoleon, so those bug bites will be doing even more.
Oh, so now swapping into Mandibuzz. It will, I think, outpace to a Rock Tomb for sure. Maybe not to a Sand, no, even to a Sand Tomb. Trying to catch a foul play on Togekiss, but Anicor doesn't fall for it, and now go for Shadow Ball. I think 2 Shadow Ball plus some Snarl may be enough to knock out Togekiss. Let's see.
Going ahead, Shadow Ball number 1 coming through. It's got mad damage, but even still, just charging up a little bit extra. Those Snarls are doing absolutely nothing to the Togekiss here. And this Aura Sphere will at least start chunking away at Mandibuzz, one of the bulkiest Pokemon that we have in the Great League.
Yeah, it looks like I'm not that much of a Mandibuzz expert, because I think you need a few more Snarl to actually take this match. I mean, with Shadow Ball you still hit very respectably hard, so it's not like that terrible for Mandibuzz, like I said. But I don't think... Ooh, maybe you actually, if you use a protection, you can get a Snarl down. That's crazy.
Well, that is, but now we're going to be able to go for an Aura Sphere here.
No,
Anicor doesn't use the shield, maybe still hoping that he can get Snarl down, or at least get the Togekiss low enough that it won't be able to do damage to anything else. Actually pivoting out, great call there by Anicor, being able to lower that debuff there, but going to have to take a Sand Tomb for the efforts.
Kind of awkward here, because there is a foul play stored on that Mandibuzz. Use Protection as Anicor. No, this is a great farm down for his backline Pokemon. You think, but it's Medicham, and Medicham does not do well into either of these Pokemon. In fact, Kuifje went strong into Medicham in all 3 Pokemon. Come on, bring it on. And I think Kuifje at this point knows this is going to be a really good matchup. Yes, there is a foul play bank, keep that in mind. So maybe Medicham can put in enough work. We'll have to see. It has to put in a lot of work here.
Medicham has definitely have to start stripping away these shields, because there's still 2 left on both of these players' teams here. Now going up, charging up a little bit of extra energy, and Kuifje actually goes for a dynamic bait here. Anicor puts up the Protect Shield. So rude!
I think this was your win condition as Anicor, to no-shoot a potential dynamic punch. I mean, it's easier said hindsight, but yeah, that was crazy actually. Saving a little bit of energy compared to throwing the Shadow Ball. Can you get to another Ice Punch, actually take a Protect Shoot here? This kind of becomes a little bit iffy, because I believe that this Medicham might be able to get the final Protect Shield with the next Ice Punch. And then Mandibuzz has a charge attack loaded. Hold up.
Oh, Mandibuzz actually popping right in immediately, saying, I'm getting that last shield no matter what. The big problem is Psywaves aren't going to be doing anything to this Mandibuzz. I think Kuifje has to switch back to that Fortress pretty soon and just hope it can bug bite down.
Wait, I don't know. I don't know. Foul play is coming through. Looks like Anicor's going for the undercharge. I really love that play. He needs energy on that Medicham. Can you get the side cut down? I'm not sure if you can get the side cut down that reliably. I mean, you have enough health here to take a charge attack at the very least. Now I guess you're in dynamic punch range. You cannot use a protection here. Anicor actually might have played. I think he might have this.
Anicor played out of his mind in this here, recognizing, okay, it's going to be a tag team effort. He's going for yet another bait here, but he's not going to be able to get up to 2. He's got to get to, Kuifje's got to get to 2 dynamic punches, and Anicor has to hit this Ice Punch to be able to knock out the Grumpig.
If this doesn't knock out, then that's a big regret from Anicor, because dynamic punch does a little bit more damage despite being resisted. But let's see. I don't think Grumpig is that bulky. Medicham actually able to pull this off. How did Anicor do that?
Medicham saying, I'm not worried about any of these Pokemon coming in there, taking the game, taking away the 2-0 streak of the stream here, staying in this, and we are going into our first decisive game number 3.
That swap and the farm down from Anicor was so smart. It was so, I was like, wait, why are you doing this? Now you get Sidewave down. Now Grumpig just double Shadow Balls to Medicham. You lose, Anicor. What are you doing? But Anicor's like, Martin, you don't know anything here. This is why you're sitting behind the desk today. He swapped in Mandibuzz with that charge stack loaded, and he knew he was 2 Snarl off, so he could get to another charge before getting Sidewave down, forcing Kuifje to swap into Fortress at some point. And then Anicor is like, now I can set up my Medicham. I will go for the undercharge, get the energy on Medicham, and then I can knock out Grumpig. Devious. Excellent play from Anicor there.
That was completely calculated. I tell you what, at first I thought he was actually going for that full foul play. I was like, ooh, I don't think that was the play, but really actually undercharging to the perfect amount to being able to now knock down that Fortress with the Medicham. beautiful, beautiful plays.
It's just kind of recognizing the health range and what you can use protections on and what you don't need to use protections on. Because yes, that Bug Bite Fortress is going to chip a lot of damage on the Medicham, but none of that does as much as any Shadow Ball from the Grumpig. So you always keep your Protect Shield for Shadow Ball. You take damage from this Fortress nonsense, that's fine. And then you can just Ice Punch Grumpig to close out the game. Really, really good win con identification there from AnicorXIII.
I mean, and also, if you think about it, it was almost like AnicorXIII was on the back foot almost that whole game. It was really in that last 15 seconds that you were like, ooh, he might have it. But who will have this decisive game number 3 as we hop into it here? We have Grumpig up against Empoleon in the lead, both of them staying in. Of course, both of them need to be a little bit wary of the charge attack of either Hydro Cannon coming through first. No protection to use by Kuifje.
Very iffy here. I would expect AnicorXIII to try and perhaps catch an attack on Mandibus because it's so free. But also, you don't want to swap out because you have Medicham in the back. So let's see. Dynamic Punch coming through. And Empoleon might get knocked out by this. Yeah, use a Protect Shield.
Going to have to use a Protect Shield if he wants to keep that Empoleon healthy. Empoleon also would do very well into the back line. So I think if you're Kuifje, you want to try to get this Pokemon out of the way. Do we see a Protect Shield used here to try to get that last one or at least get the Empoleon out? Looks like Kuifje chooses to do that last second. Doesn't want to get this caught in anything else. The Mandibus coming right in.
It looks like Kuifje flinched a little bit. Wasn't sure what to do with that just yet. Swaps in Shadow Fortress just like he did in Game 1, but we saw how that went. That Mandibus actually can win this scenario just being ahead a little bit there. You have Rock Tomb as Fortress, so you can reduce the damage taken. But Mandibus so bulky, will be able to get to a Foul Play and a Shadow Ball still.
Going ahead now, just charging up a little bit of extra energy. These attacks will not be doing as much damage now as this Rock Tomb will be able to go through, lowering the attack of the Mandibus. But even still, we saw how much it did before. It does quite a bit even still. Opting for maybe 2 Foul Plays since he has the energy reached.
Yeah, this is kind of a different from Game 1 where AnicorXIII thought he could get Shadow Ball and then the farm down. This time he goes for Foul Play instead. It costs less energy and he recognized that he needs 2 Charge Sticks anyway. Does AnicorXIII allow a farm down though? He probably knows it's gonna be Togekiss in the back, so I would not be surprised if AnicorXIII reaches for the switch here. In comes Empoleon, but this is exactly what AnicorXIII wants. If you can get those shields down, Medicham is not that bad into Togekiss.
And now also those Metal Sounds are going to be doing a nice chunk of damage as a fast attack to that Togekiss, which isn't the bulkiest Pokemon. Just charging up a ton of extra energy here, going for that Aura Sphere. Does AnicorXIII want to use his shield here, or is he saving it for that Medicham? Well, the bulky Pokemon in the back looks like he lets it go.
I see the vision. I see the vision. Because his Mandibus is healthy enough to take on Cyrus. So once Grumpig's coming in, you just bring in Mandibus, and what are you gonna do, Grumpig? You can't do anything.
Grumpig has a ton of energy already, and actually throwing right away. AnicorXIII doesn't even have time to react here. Puts up his last Protect Shield, but I think you're absolutely right. We might see that Mandibuzz coming right back in here as we see AnicorXIII clicking it. Will he be able to reach a Dynamic Punch? He's got to be able to throw something here. Going at the last second Dynamic Punch for the Mandibuzz.
But this is what AnicorXIII wants, because now he can get a slight energy advantage on the Mandibuzz again, and that puts this, on the Medicham, and that puts Medicham in a great position. Kuifje knows that the writing's on the wall here. This is where you go for the Ice Punch. Can AnicorXIII close out with a Dynamic Punch, maybe?
Going ahead, Ice Punch going through. This is going to be super effective damage to that Togekiss, knocking it very, very low. Togekiss has to go for 2 attacks, and it's not going to be able to reach both of them in time as the second Ice Punch goes through. Is this just a half game for AnicorXIII though, since you said that the Dynamic Punch
guess that still makes it an advantage for AnicorXIII there. He takes game number 3 there. Excellent gameplay. That was... what are the right words for this, actually? Because he lost the lead so many times, and on the back of that Mandibus, just soaking damage and then closing out with Medicham, even though it seemed like Kuifje counted Medicham 3 times